introduced your channel. I got it up here on my screen, and tell us a bit about it. So it's Naya Gaming,
Yeah,
and you do all Ebony videos. It's been open about a month. Is that true?
correct. I started a few days back, and basically, I started it for my alliance, and then I thought I should share it with everybody else because explaining few stuff by screenshot and texting is a little bit hard, and there were many requests. People wanted to learn stuff. Like it's not there is not a lot of information out there. So and obviously there are so many videos of you and many other streamers, but still it was like people need more information if they want to play better. So I started it.
Yeah, and every alliance I think is the same. The same
Exactly.
questions over and
Over
over,
and
and I
over.
get them even. I get
Exactly.
them in my YouTube comments. Like, can you do a video on this? And it's like, yo, search. Like, I got it.
Exactly.
It's all there.
Exactly.
I got like 1,000 videos, but people don't look it up. So yeah, so if you make one and then just post it in whatever your alliance uses, like Line Chat or AC, and just put it in there, it's good. Yeah.
Exactly. Uh, okay, so this is my segment where I want to interview players, different players, and I want to know their opinion, their gaming style, and I think this is a good way of interacting with gamers and knowing their perspective, and maybe in some way we can influence the game, and that's why I chose you. And
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thanks. So basically, so how this is going to work is Naya's going to interview me. We'll do a bit of back and forth. I'll bounce some questions back to her. And the first 10 minutes or so is going to be on my channel. And then you can tune into hers after and get it. And it's up here, Naya_gaming. Subscribe to it. Naya, how often are you going to be doing videos? Looks like you're doing like a few a week so far. Is
right.
that going to be the speed you're going to be continuing?
Yes, I'm thinking to upload some battlefield videos, but let's see. And I'm giving some normal tutorial, the basic stuffs. Uh, I want to take my journey and I want to show people the way I am doing it. I'm a semi coiner and I know few good coiners as well, and I know you, and there are so much information out there. So I'm just trying to root it out through my video and through my channel. And about the interviews, yes, I will try to get as many players as I can. And I don't have this perspective that I will just take bigger players. I want to take uh, I want to consider everybody, like smaller, medium, larger, so that uh, people can correlate the
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. That's kind of how I started my channel. I thought I was going to start doing all this advanced stuff. Like the first playlist I did was advanced tutorials.
Yes,
And then I started to realize quickly like all my comments, all my questions are basically
basics.
beginner or mid level low
Correct.
coiners. So
Correct.
I'm like, that's my audience, not high level tutorials. So I kind of changed paths really quickly.
Exactly. But throughout the time, like in few days, I realized the bigger coiners, the players who know a lot, they also have a lot of questions, and which I'm gonna ask you in between. And I don't think this video we can like complete everything in one video, but I was hoping to start from somewhere, and then maybe we can do second round, third round, and then we can consider, because there are few bigger coiners and they have very different type of question. Every audience every account, I think, has different type of question, different type of play style and stuff. So we cannot answer everything, but we can answer basics and we can have some discussion over it, and maybe we can have like we can learn stuff which even you don't know, or even oh, gaming, the developers and stuff. Like I'm hoping to reach like to learn from you, and we can learn from our audience as well, I mean.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Like, there's so many things going on in the game, and small players can be efficient in a different manner. Like we're seeing with all these T1s now that are
Exactly.
becoming everywhere, and there's becoming a way for small players to actually compete in a
Exactly.
certain facet of the game. So yeah,
Exactly,
it's good to
it
have
changed
different
like
opinions out there.
correct. In last 6 months, the gaming has changed a lot, like from the time K35 came up, like K40 came up, and gaming changed. But there is more option, there is more things to explore right now. And even the old concept of, like, people had reached a limit, and then there was not much to explore. Right now there is so much to explore, and different kind of players are playing different kind of role right now. Like this T1 thing is working differently, same way K40 rallies, singles, solos. There are many strategies coming up. Maybe in future the questions which people have, like how can we zero a K40, how this rally impacting everything, like big rally hall, maybe there would be solutions for it. And may people are trying different ways for it, right?
Yeah, I think it's good. So yeah, so let's get underway here.
Okay, so I have few questions about you at first, like about Ganges as a individual gamer, and then I have a different segments. So should I start?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so my first question: how long have you been playing? Like,
Evany.
yeah.
So I started Evany. I've been playing their browser Evany Age One since
Oh,
like 2005, 2006. I played that for 5 years or so. Then I actually moved across the world to Dubai,
okay.
uh, and then
I think you
Evany
restarted.
the
You took
browser.
a break, and
It was
then
just it was Sorry, I'll just finish this for a second.
sure, sure, sure.
So Ebony, the browser game, got blocked at my work because I was playing it too much in Dubai, I guess. And then it's a 24-hour game, we know, just like this is real time.
Right.
And then there was just too many periods where I was offline and couldn't access the game to protect myself because there was no bubble in Age 1. You set a gate and people
Oh,
could knock it down.
wow.
And then, anyways, fast forward, I quit. I sold my account because of that. Fast forward, I was always looking for a new game. I started to play Clash of Clans, and it was like, oh, this just doesn't have the map expansion territories that Evany always had that I always wanted to find again. And then I came across Evany Mobile in, like, I don't know, 2019, COVID time, something like that.
Wow. Wow. The game has changed over the period, and it has changed drastically. Correct. And I know some players from older, like from the web one, and their experience is way too different from the current one. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah, it's a very similar game, but
Okay.
Age 1 had some really awesome stuff that Age 3 doesn't have. Age 3 has some this I call this Age 3, and
Okay.
mobile Age 3 has stuff that Age 1 doesn't have, which is good.
Okay.
So they're both good games. Obviously, that's why I play them.
Okay. Uh, what's the gaming good part about this game? Why this game is working more than other games? Like, uh, it was in top 10 at one point of time, and it's earning good revenue. So, what's your thought about
I
it?
think the main thing is, and it's actually something that Evany's gotten away from, which I think is hurting it, is it's so simple. Like
Correct.
anyone could learn it and be pretty good really quickly. And
Okay.
then, of course, it's competitive, and you actually can lose real stuff, right? Like you can lose your subsidies, things like that. So it, brings up the heart rate in SVS and stuff like that. If you're on a bubble or burn server and you're looting somebody, it's dangerous. But Age 1, you could actually lose your city, not just your sub cities.
Oh,
So,
wow.
and if your generals died in Age 1, they were gone. So you would build up a
Oh
general
my god.
forever, and if someone killed him, he's gone.
I think
It
I'm
didn't
happy
take
that
as
I'm in
much
age
to
3
build.
then.
Yeah, so Age 1, it didn't take so much to build up your general. So if you lost him, it wasn't the end of the world, but it was
Okay.
still like you had an attachment to your general, and he was cool, and then he'd be gone. But the good thing about Age 1 is it wasn't very expensive. If you spent $250, you would rule your server.
Oh my god. Just
Like you
250
didn't have to
bucks.
spend much. So mobile gaming is much more expensive.
Okay. So I will start with my battlefield segment. Okay.
All right.
Okay. My first question is, which battle you like the most? SVS, Chalon, Hans, BOC, BOG. All.
Uh,
Yeah.
BOC is great. Shalons is awesome if you have a great team. Shalons is really good, really fun. But BOC and Shalons for sure.
And All
Just
Star?
because I just, obviously BOC, we all know why.
Yeah.
Shalons is good because there's so many targets, and even a mid-level team can make rallies and feel good about themselves and compete.
But
You can actually have some successful hits because there's just so many targets.
exactly. That was a good point. Like when they started Chalan, we had multiple players. Like there were 50 players in total. Sorry, 100. Sorry, I'm a little bit confused. Yes, obviously 100 players and different keep levels, so it's good. Uh, but don't you think a lot of players and a lot of their matching is going wrong way? I mean, there are few players who are complaining about.
You mean in Shalons?
Yeah,
Yeah, so Shalons, I don't understand why people are complaining about matchups because it's supposed to be unfair in the first 4 rounds because then you get to the top 16. You can't have all the good teams play each other or they won't make the top 16.
okay.
Right? Like the bad teams have to get eliminated by the good teams.
But there is, there are few complaints about from the players that if we are played with, if we are matched with someone dominating like 100 billion or 200 billion alliance to 35 million billion alliance or 40, then there is no way of playing. Like people,
Yeah,
there
but
are
that
alliances.
I think that's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to get eliminated, and then Shalons becomes the top 16. The problem I think with Shalons is that I almost think there should be more points for buildings than PvP,
Correct.
because that way, if a really good team gets matched against small teams and they win in like 10 minutes and they hold buildings for the next 2 hours, they should get a lot of points for that. They shouldn't be punished because their matchup was weak.
Exactly. In BOC and BOG as well, there is this instruction in their details that uh, whatever score you get from hitting a player or killing the troops is actually used for ranking, not the reinforcement. The score which you get from reinforcement.
Yeah, you don't get reinforcement building points for your team total in
Exactly.
BOC,
So
but your individual's total will have them.
but just imagine if we take your point in consideration of like building score, the building score and the PvP score, two different score. If we give more points of building score, then it would be different. I mean, right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, that's not the only solution. Another thing Ebony could do is just have 3 rounds for the first round, and then the fourth round, all the undefeated teams have to play each other, or there has to be 2 undefeated teams in each matchup to eliminate something. Because one thing that everybody gets frustrated with in Shalons is after 4 rounds, there's 40 to 50 teams that are undefeated. And it's
Correct.
just whoever has the more favorable matchup for points advances, which isn't
Exactly.
always fair.
Exactly.
So maybe they could add an extra round or just make everybody face each other.
Oh my god, make everybody face each other like league match.
Well, make the undefeated teams have to face an undefeated team in round 4.
Correct.
Something like that.
Then
Yeah.
those who are not matched properly, they can come up if they have the ability. So
Yeah.
uh, uh, okay, so my next question is what's your thought about solo gaming and alliance rally gaming?
So yeah, so there's so many things to consider here. So when I was on my last server with Nefarious Alliance, like just it was like an all-star battle every
Exactly.
battlefield.
Yeah.
Everyone is so fast to join. They speed into rallies. Everybody can recall, port away, come back, join again. Everyone has a big enough rally size so that it only takes 7 or 8 people to join a rally to get over 30 million troops. And if you get 12 in, awesome, you got 45. So those are factors to consider if you can rally or not. And if you don't have that, you really can't rally unless you can port lock the other team and get rid of all their teleports.
Correct.
If you can't do that, you have to solo. So for me, now My account, I can solo really well. Things I look for, mostly I just look at the size. I don't scout because I have to be fast because they'll teleport as soon as they see me near. Usually
Correct.
I port slightly off screen and then speed at them for the first hit.
Correct.
And if they're under 2 billion, I'll just send ground and try and zero them and hope they don't have T1 traps.
Yeah.
Usually they won't, so I'm just going in blind and hoping. It usually works out well. And if it doesn't, well, whatever. I have more troops.
Okay.
And if they're bigger, I'll usually just go in and hit them with archer and kill the horse, and then I'll start to siege solo them and kill the siege, and then I'll scout
But
and
this
then kind of figure out what I'm gonna do next.
okay. But while you are doing solo, it's reducing your score in short. I mean,
No, well, I'm strong, so
okay.
I'll come away positive on those hits,
Okay.
and I'll take a peek at the reports after I do it, and if they're not positive, I'll stop.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And I'll send a scout and see what's going on.
Okay.
And hey, maybe the other player is really good, and I won't send it. Like if I see someone who's 12 billion, I'm
Obviously.
not going to start soloing them right
Right.
away. I'm
Exactly.
going to work on their teammates first.
Okay. Okay. Uh, Another question is,
But just to finish that a little bit before we go,
yes.
there's some people you're just not going to be able to solo. Like I can't go solo anybody. They have to be ideal targets.
Exactly.
Someone weaker,
Weaker.
someone with a lower keep level. So in my mind, if I see a K37 or K38, I know what their maximum buffs can be.
Can be.
So I know I'm safe going in. If I see a 30, 38, 39, 40, it's like, okay, I'll be more careful. Also, the server matters. So if I see, like if I see, say I'm playing a K37, 38 on C1, I know they're going to be weaker than a 38 on C4.
C4, exactly.
So like if my alliance, because we're small, we're like 80, 90 billion.
Correct.
If we are playing C1, we're probably not playing the top alliance on a C1 server. So I know they're going to be weaker. So that's a factor in my mind too. The first thing I look at when we enter is, oh, what server is this? And if I see 300 plus, I'm like, okay, I have to be more careful in my play.
Okay. So C2s, C3, C4 are the biggest problem right now.
I think C2 and C4 are the strongest.
Okay. Okay. Right.
I think one has weaker accounts but very good players.
Good. Right.
And of course they have good accounts too, but for the most part, their mid-level players are going to have
They already
buffs
have
than C2.
exactly. They already have coined and correct.
Yeah. Go ahead. You can tell what happened.
I was saying in C1 they already coined and did a lot, and then K40 introduced and things changed. And there is a point in gaming when people start to understand, or they realize that they cannot do anymore, or they most of the C1 are moving to C4 currently. If you it's my experience that a lot of C1 are moving to C4 and like.
Yeah, and just to explain exactly what you're talking about is people are only going to spend a certain amount of money on their account.
Correct.
So when you spend money on your account is only as good as what was in those packages at the time when you bought it.
Correct.
After K40, Ebony started to introduce new things in the packs. Tactic scrolls, dragon stones, blazons now, treasure scrolls. So if you started to coin today, you get way more value than someone who spent $100,000 4 years ago.
Correct.
So they're better off just starting over. Like $20,000 today in Ebony
is more valuable.
Would have a much better account than someone who spent $100,000 5 years ago.
Correct, exactly. So my next question is Ebony trying to move us toward alliance gaming more than solo? I mean, more rallies. Because you see the new military academy research in like there are few research for solo hits and stuff, but mostly you get added buff and stuff when you are doing alliance section. There are section where you get a lot of buff when you are joining rallies. So is Ivoni trying to tell us that you have to move more for rallies and less for solos? It's related to the last question.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot to this answer, and I don't think it's necessarily about rallies.
Okay. Team game.
Look at a microphone there, so I don't. I'm not screaming, but
No.
anyways, I think it's more Evany wants you to be in an alliance,
Right.
and it's just a lot of stuff going on in the game that force you to be in an alliance. So
Correct.
rallies is one of them. Like the buffs you can get are for rallies.
Right.
If you want to play in Shalons, you need an alliance.
Correct.
If you want to make all stars, you need an alliance because your alliance score. I know lots of people who cannot make all stars even though they're awesome players because they don't want to join an alliance, and then their alliance score doesn't get top 300, so their points don't count.
Exactly.
If you want gold and materials, you need Vikings from your teammates.
Correct.
If you want to find all the Ymers on the map, you need your teammates helping you. Like there's just so many things going on in the game that you need teammates for now.
Exactly. Even if you are a strong player, like many big players, like even you, if you are matched with me, I'm not trying to say say something, but in general, if you are matched with me, and if you are doing solo, and I have a team and alliance, because even though my buff are not better than you, I'm smaller than you, but as an alliance rally I can do better, because it at M2, M3, M4, the buff, the research, there are research which are adding double triple buffs when joining a rally rather than doing a solos on you, or like,
or reinforcing, right?
Exactly.
Reinforcing is very strong as well.
Exactly.
It doesn't work against a big rally, but against a solo player it would shut him down.
Exactly. So like the gaming has changed a lot. Like before also we used to do rallies, and right now also we are doing rallies, but uh did Ivoni created another issue by like they wanted to solve one. It's my opinion that they wanted to solve the issue that few players which are undefeated, which were undefeatable like before, but now there is no one who cannot be defeated. Like by rallies we can defeat and everyone, but by doing this, by providing bigger march hall and providing better buffs and rallies buff and in reinforcement buff, they created another issue that now no one is as good. Like if, for example, if you are there and you invested a lot of money, a lot of stuff, and did everything, and still if you're 100 billion, just assuming 100 billion, and still you can be rallied by few players in an alliance. So did they created another issue by adding this rallies and stuff like rally hall and research?
Yeah, they took away defense.
Correct.
They took away defense against a rally. So before K40, a 3 billion player could go sit there and eat 6 or 7 rallies.
Correct.
In Battlefield against 11.7 mil was the max rally cap, I think.
Right.
And you couldn't get through. You couldn't beat the guy. And that was boring in Battlefield. Everyone was like, oh, they're pre-rainers. They're boring. And
Right.
now they've gone the opposite. And now it's like, oh, you're teleporters, you're porters. And that's boring and annoying also. But one thing that I think Evany has done, a side effect of the change they made, which I think does hurt their revenue a bit, is with everyone having to be in an alliance, you don't really see solo rogue players anymore.
Correct.
Because you can't grow without an alliance.
Correct.
And when you have a rogue on your server, and I'm not talking about like the small 300 million, 400 million rogue
bigger,
who does a little, I'm talking about a big like 5-10 billion rogue. People would spend money to try and beat that person.
Correct.
And to fight against them.
Correct.
And that rogue would spend money. And that source of revenue is gone for them. And also just that source of entertainment is gone. Like that would be a reason for people to log in because they hate someone. Lots of people play this game out of anger.
Right.
Like
True.
they want to hate someone.
True.
They're only coining because they want to catch that person who zeroed them.
Exactly. There
And
are
that
players.
in-server rivalry is gone on lots of servers now.
Exactly. They need to introduce more of server versus server stuff. I mean, it's my opinion that uh, now SVS is
I
very
think they should
boring.
introduce. I think they should introduce in-server stuff. So like not server versus server, but you compete against people on your server.
But mostly what they are introducing are like coining stuff, like actual
Oh,
battle.
of course it's coining stuff.
Yeah.
It's never a free PvP event. That's one of the big problems with them. They use you watch the Miser's channel. I saw
Yes.
you subscribe to him.
Yes.
And one of the things he did a video the other day where he said he thinks the last actual free thing that Evany did that wasn't a coining event was when they added the set piece buffs for like airs. Like if you have 2 out of 4 airs or 4 out of 6, you get buffs.
Buffs.
That was like the last time they did anything nice and free for the community. And I kind of agree with them.
Yeah.
And I guess Hun's Invasion, and that's it really.
And they have not introduced Hun after like from long time. It was way long.
Yeah,
I think
it's only ever come out twice.
twice. And it was a fun time. I mean, I remember it was a time for my server when I was still small, but it was good time for me to play with people in other alliance and play a battlefield. Right now the problem is on my server, like I will talk about my server. So there are big players, different alliance.
Which server are you?
443.
443.
Yep.
Right next door to mine.
Yes, I
430.
know. I played. We have played SVS together, and I know the whole alliance of yours. So I was there once. I was small, so I wanted to learn, and I came to your alliance to learn few stuff. I was scared then. So I'm in gaming. I mean, so yep. So
Everybody's scared till they're big in this game. That's how it is. The key to it is no fear. Those are the best players.
exactly. And the more you learn, the more better you get. And then you understand, oh my God, there is so much to learn. And there is so much still unspoken. And there are still so many questions. There is no end to this. Like you cannot be a certain level, a certain keep, a certain power, and you will be like, yeah, I'm done and I'm the best. No, there is no such thing.
Yeah, pretty much. There's always someone out there.
Yes, like before people used to sing Phillips or rhythm or sing, and you people are undefeatable or like there is no way. And
Yeah, and BK, and
yes,
I always
yes,
think the best in
freedom.
my mind. I always think sing, BK and rhythm, and then Miu Miu. I think her name is.
Right, and there are few new players on this C4.
Oh yeah, I don't even think about them. But yeah, City Ultimate and
Yes,
all those guys down
the
there.
face and I know don't know everybody, but there are few, and there are crazy people on C4. I'm just thinking when they will be matching on normal basis with us, how the game will change. I mean,
Yeah, the best guy I faced was a guy named Papa Hodler.
yes, I know.
I faced him in BOG a couple months ago. He was C4. He finished I think 30th or so in All Stars last time. He's very good.
Yeah, and C4
That was the
have
first
different
time I got
game
a
style
taste of
compared to
how good
us.
the guys on C4 are.
Right.
What was that?
I was saying C4 have different game style than us. Like
What do you mean?
for example, for us, our defense is different, and for C4, their thoughts about like for my server and people around me, they want to be 10 billion, and they want different type of debuff, defense, and buff and stuff. And for C4, their competition is getting into all star and stuff, and their keep is very different from us. And when I discuss with them, and their thoughts about the gaming is I mean, they have experience because there are few of them are from older server, and they're doing a lot of coining. They are getting a lot of different stuff like debuff gear, debuff. I mean, skill book. So how they are using it, how I would use it, there the whole mindset of the gaming is different for C4 and C3. It's my opinion. I mean, I think because they prefer it's my observation that few C4 or they prefer uh, doing coining and getting stuff, and while C3 and C1 or C2 we had we played in a era where not coining is not everything, like free to play was also a normal thing and people were doing it and doing yam is like normal bosses and stuff, and then growing up and doing coining for important stuff was different. And right now it's very different. I mean, you can be 2 billion 3 billion in a week, in a week or
Yeah, it's there. Yeah,
so.
one of the things I noticed when I switched servers was the small players were 700 million,
Yeah.
whereas small
Exactly.
players on C1 were like 200 million still, and they're still struggling.
Exactly, getting wings on like blue wings on my server, and when we started it was just 200, 500. That's it. And like million score or like still at level 23 I got my wings at 27, keep 27. And one of my friend Lucifer, he got it at 25. He's the youngest one on this like who got the wings. And now you have to be 20, like the new servers which we are matched with right now, they are K36 and they don't have wings. So
Yeah, I think every server is the same though. Like you get them early or you struggle to get them.
but still there are like last week we one of our player K33, he got wing. Obviously there was different mechanisms he tried, like T1, so we will talk about it afterward. But yes, so the level of gaming has changed a lot, a lot over the like
Yeah,
C1 and C
the C4 grows fast, basically.
way,
Yeah,
way
but
far.
yeah, let's talk about T1s.
Okay.
So, are you an expert on T1s? Do you know lots about them?
uh,
I have been getting this T1 question for a long time, and I've only just now started to really realize and understand them more.
Actually, my alliance when we just merged few months back, and when I came to the new alliance, they are Vietnamese, and they had T1, and their impact was incredible. And thank god we were on good side of like we were in the land, so we saw that working, like there was no such thing before, and still the players which are higher than them in power, they didn't knew about it. And when they started hitting us in KE, and when they saw the scores in SVS, it was amazing. And slowly people like I think there are so many misconceptions still about T1, and people are still trying and learning and using it. And let's hope until the time we learn everything about it, the